Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of College Football Uncensored. For now, brought to you by Saturday Down South. I'm your host, Tyler Huck, and with me, as always, my dining friend here, Chris Marlowe.
Well, Uber Eats was very late in their delivery of my food, and they gave me. I just told Tyler this off air. I got nachos.
What's the restaurant?
I don't know. It was like a Mexican place.
William Gray, what's up, buddy?
Mess up nachos, and they put broccoli on it. I've never seen. What kind of insane person puts broccoli on nachos?
Okay, so like an actual Mexican restaurant made these nachos and still put broccoli on them?
Yeah, it wasn't like Pam down the street. It was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's an interesting move. I don't think I've ever seen the broccoli on the nacho move.
I don't like it. Let me ask you a question right off the bat.
Okay.
The Atlanta Braves.
Yes.
Posted a thing earlier on Twitter.
Okay.
And it was letting fans vote on their favorite Outkast song.
Okay.
There's 4 songs they gave. It's B.O.B., Rosa Parks, Hey Ya, and Miss Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson.
That's a tough 4, I would say.
Is it? Because the bottom 2 should not be on the list, for one. And both of those 2 are currently leading.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's like probably like some of their worst songs. Like, I mean, and I like those songs.
B.O.B. is good.
B.O.B. is good, but I mean, there's so many better ones. ATLians.
I mean, anything off of Quimini is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, B.O.B. would probably be my favorite out of that group for sure. We got some people joining.
Spotty Doppelicious.
You could say that.
I just did.
Ground stuff. That's true. You did. Yeah. So I was going to ask you what your favorite Outkast song is, but you just told me so it's good.
I think it's ATLians.
Okay, that's fair. Big weekend.
This coming weekend or last weekend?
It's not the coming that I'm concerned with, Tyler. It's the going.
It's not the going. Yeah. What, last weekend?
Yeah, I thought it was a good weekend. A lot of college football talk making its ways around the interwebs.
Yeah. So I was up in Murphy, North Carolina this weekend. Went up with a buddy of mine. So he was my random. So when you went to college, did you get placed with someone completely random to live with?
The first semester, yeah, it was awful.
It was so this was the guy, one of 2 other guys that I was paired up with in like a suite mate of 4, and we've remained like really good friends ever since we met.
Really?
And so he was living in New York for 10 years, and he just moved down here to Georgia last year. And so his friend from New York came down. We were both in his wedding, and we went to have a little man weekend where there was some casino involved, where we went to the sports book, had a phenomenal time. Some of us hit the tables and lost money. That wasn't me. I stayed in the sports book. And Chris, it was profitable. It was profitable.
You always are.
Friday night, we went up there. I was like, you know what? The Celtics, to me, seem soft.
They seem vulnerable.
And my buddy was like, well, you know, they're 10-point favorites. I think the Heat could cover the 10. I go, you know what? I think we do better than that. I think we go Heat money line.
I love
$100. And, of course, we know the outcome there. Nice little dub. 100 to win 433. And then quickly was feeling the itch. I don't know if that was from the Red Bull vodkas that we were drinking to try to stay awake because we're old. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing I would want to do less than drink a Red Bull vodka, but when it's
so bad, right?
When it's like 11 p.m. and I'm a father of 2, sometimes I get a little sleepy, Chris, especially when I get a couple cocktails in me. So, you know, I was like, you know what? Instead of the beer, why don't we go Red Bull vodka, which just really makes things livened up, you know? And so decided to take some of my profits from the newly won Miami Heat bet and put it on an NHL game, which I haven't watched one of this year.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I did win that, so I won the bet. So it was a great weekend. Great weekend. Went golfing. Producer Dan met us at the golf course.
What the hell, guys? Why do you guys do so much stuff without me? Is it something about me? It's because I eat broccoli on my nachos?
That's part of it.
Fair.
No. I actually said
that's the best I'll have. All right.
No, I invited Dan up, and he needed a night away from the household. And so I said, "Come on up, Dan." And had a great time.
I'm glad you guys had a great time together doing stuff together.
And right when we got off the course, I said, "You know what? When I tell Chris about this, he's gonna be very angry with us."
Mm-hmm.
And
you were right.
Here we are. Yep. How was your weekend, Chris? Oh, and then I went to the Braves game yesterday. Another shortest game ever. It literally was just over 2 hours long.
It's not the shortest game ever. I've been to a short game than that. Stop, Pepper.
Well, it was the shortest game this season, but
okay,
I've never been to a game that short. Got there, started at 1:30. We were leaving the park by 3:30.
That's insane. And they won, I guess. I'm assuming this is the Braves.
Yeah, they won.
No, I'm happy you guys had a fun weekend. I had a fun weekend too. I went up to Juan's Creek, or as the locals call it, John's Creek. And I did some babysitting. It's a soft J. It's like yogging.
Yeah.
I did some babysitting, which is, I know a lot of you are sitting here thinking, like, who let Chris around children? Not the courts. I'll tell you that much. Nah, that sounded way worse than I intended.
Yeah,
it was weird.
There's a family named Courts. It's John and Kate Courts.
Right. John and Kate plus Court plus 8. So I helped my buddy Jeff out. His wife was out of town, so we did some co-parenting. It was actually a lot of fun. I had a great time with it. We went and jumped.
I thought you were about to say cocaine.
No, I don't do that.
Okay, my bad. Guess it's wrong.
Thank you, though, for saying that. I did do that video last week for social media that was joking around about the little Ziploc baggies that are only used for cocaine. And there were several people that was like, dude, are you on speed or something? And I was like, this is a joke. The whole video. So anyway.
Also, yes.
Also, yeah. Is there a problem with that? Are you on slow? Anyway. No, there's
mustard. What?
Okay, anyway, let's get into actual football talk before you say too much. Good weekend. Both of us. I'm glad both of you had them. David Hill, welcome in. Eddie Busa in the comments. Beard Dog, William Gray, Harry Leggy. It's good to see all of y'all. So here's the topics for tonight. We're going to talk about, we didn't even play a Creed song. We got to get a Creed song going.
Should we just,
what do you want to go with? Huh?
Should we just perform it ourselves? Acapella?
Well, let's just Creed roulette. Let's just figure out. I'm gonna put on Creed radio. First,
should I make another wheel?
Yeah, do the wheel. Do the wheel.
Creed wheel.
We kind of do need a Creed wheel. That was like a big hit. All right, Creed radio. This is Creed. One last breath. All right. What's up, Tony Simpson? I'm way too early. We're going to get in trouble for YouTube. It was not the best song.
Yeah.
We'll play it again later. Oh, my girl. We have on the docket today, we have top 5 SEC stadiums, which was a argument and conversation that was started by our good friend, Brandon Walker, who I got to tell you, him and I are a long way from ever being friends. But we did agree on something he said today. We did.
I think you guys are going to be friends one day. I do. I'm calling it now.
To be honest. I don't know how I feel about that. But I didn't like you when I first met you.
Well, that's news to me. What the fuck?
I told you this. Because you were Jason's, it was like a weird thing. I was like, this guy sucks. He wears his hat backwards. And I was like, I should wear my hat backwards, bro.
Dude, is that real? You hated me?
Yeah,
that's
I told you
up, man. Were you jealous of me or something?
Probably, I don't know.
Because I was like better friends with Jason than you.
I think that's what it was, which is a weird thing to say out loud as an adult male. But I was like, dude, you think you're best friends with Jason? I'm gonna be so much fucking harder best friends with Jason, bro. Anyway, no. So
oh, that's funny.
Brandon Walker Sunday did a whole thing about the top 5 stadiums in the SEC. We're gonna get to that. Also going to talk about how our good friend Kevin Warren, the former commissioner of the Big Ten, continues to be the biggest bag of shit maybe in all of college football history. He's gone from college football, but he's letting his memory still last, and his impact.
Is he a friend though?
Huh?
Is he a friend though?
No,
you said our good friend Kevin Warren.
I was just saying things, but he's not. He's awful. He's a bad human being, I think. We'll get to that. That was the news that came out today. And then we'll also talk about ESPN ranking their top 10 quarterbacks since 2000, which was a really weird list.
I feel like sometimes people make lists like that purely just to get conversation going. There's no way anyone thinks that this list is accurate.
It's ESPN.
I know.
I think they thought it was accurate.
Okay, well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So where we starting?
We're doing our outcast thing, and then we'll have some audience questions to close out, and that'll be it. So it'll be probably a short show, I'm assuming, unless we talk way too long, like I always do. Let's start with the Kevin Warren thing, because that was the news that came out today, which is super bizarre. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen any of this information?
I have not. I want you to be the first one to tell me what happened, because I got the article up, but I want to hear it from your mouth.
I wish you didn't say things like that. So Pete Thamel from
your ESPN, dirty little mouth, Chris.
I want you to say it with that dirty little mouth of yours. Okay. The Big Ten last year, they signed a massive television deal that was going to be, I believe it was like, it's over $1 billion. Yeah, it was $7 billion for a 7-year deal. So it's going to be over $1 billion a year, which is insane. The SEC's their contract obviously is coming up soon. So what
they're going to currently?
What
is the SEC's current contract?
I want to say it's not over. Hold on, let me look it up real quick on the safe side. This is all stuff I could have done beforehand.
Because this is one of those things that, like, this number, just every time there's a new contract up, this number is going to continue to get. It's just like coaches, you know?
Right. Yeah. So they make around $300 million now annually.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. But then that split up.
So
is that per school?
No.
I was about to say, Jesus.
So the Big Ten made $1 billion.
Yeah, that's insane.
Just imagine what the SEC is going to get when they strike that new deal, especially with Texas and Oklahoma coming in. So anyway, Kevin Warren, though. Now, you guys remember Kevin Warren because he was the worst. Kevin Warren will forever be one of my least favorite people and I'm including my dad. I'm including Jimmy Buffett. I'm including Tyler when he was 18. Like, 18-year-old Tyler is different than 42-year-old Tyler, which he is now 42, ladies, if you are interested.
No, so, 42, Jesus.
I'm kidding. So it's like...
no offense if you're 42 or both. But.
No, yeah, 42 is a great age. We all love you. But
that's
Kevin Warren...
number.
Mine's plus 27. So Kevin Warren is he was the former Big Ten commissioner. He's responsible with trying to torpedo the entire 2020 season and try to get it taken out like with the Pac-12 as like a little bit of lapdog sidekick. We've talked about it a bazillion times. You all know why I hate Kevin Warren. He's just I don't mean this in a dramatic way at all, which is a shock coming from me. But Kevin Warren will always be one of my least favorite people because he went out of his way to take away one of my and one of all of our favorite things in the whole world in a year we needed it most. And it was all like a power play because he was trying to get everyone to go to a 9-game conference schedule. All of it is shit. He's a terrible person, in my opinion. But he reached new heights because he's gone. Like, Kevin Warren's gone. He left Tony Petitti, Petitty boy. His chains. Oh yeah, I did.
I'm
tell
sorry, Beard Dog.
Yeah, sorry, Beard Dog. You look great though. So he's a new commissioner. Started nearly a month ago. So there was something that came up where they're going to start playing games on NBC at night for the Big Ten this year, right? There's multiple teams that didn't agree to do any of that, and I think it might be Jay Harris. You're 1,000% right. So they didn't agree to several of these things, right? These deals weren't done. They aren't what they were represented to be from the standpoint of the NBC deal and availability of all members to participate in November games in primetime. That is what an industry source said. Now, those are called outstanding issues they have, which basically just means in the month of November. So a lot of times when like you have your biggest games, NBC is going to try and have premier primetime games, right? They're going to go up head to head with whatever's going to be playing on ESPN that night. Sometimes you have your ABC games. You still have your games on Fox. You're still going to also have games on SEC Network, but those aren't usually like the bigger games, even though we love that crew with Tom Hart, Jordan Palmer, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubick. But that being said, Kevin Warren took over as Big Ten commissioner in January of 2020. This is how much impact he had in such a short amount of time. He took over as the commissioner in 2020. He tried to cancel an entire football season his very first year that he was the commissioner.
Yeah, like 3 months into it.
He's the fucking worst, man. He's the fucking worst. So reading this right here, again, this is from Pete Thamel on ESPN. He took over as commissioner in 2010. 3 years at the helm, he dealt with a COVID pandemic, helped bring USC and UCLA into the conference. That was positive. In a landscape-altering deal, and secured a massive TV payday before heading back to the NFL as a team president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. When he accepted that job, he said he was leaving the Big Ten in demonstratively better position, which was true financially, as its schools project more revenue than any other league over the course of the deal. Now, this is before the SEC gets to redo their deal as well. His work in adding USC and UCLA, obviously, that's a great thing. What he didn't do was ever come to terms with Penn State, I believe Ohio State and Michigan, and I believe one more team who did not agree to be playing primetime games in the month of November. On top of that, he also negotiated a deal with NBC to move the Big Ten championship game to NBC from Fox. Do you know the problem with that, Tyler?
No, I do not. Tell me.
It breaks the contract they already had in place with Fox because it was never agreed upon by everyone, which means schools in the Big Ten now owe $40 million apiece to Fox for breaking their contract.
$40 million apiece?
You're
not confident in that number.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's go back here.
I think it's $40 million total. Either way,
it's $70 million. It's $70 million in total is in flux. $5 million per school. So I am wrong. Okay. That's still a ton of money. They also hold on. Here you go. Recently, schools have found out they're going to have to pay back nearly $40 million to Fox because, according to sources, he delivered the Big Ten football title game in 2026 without full authority to do so. They're going to have to pay $25 million total. So it says $40 million to Fox. It says they have to pay. It doesn't say that it's in total. The next paragraph says $25 million total for a deal to pay Fox back for the lost 2020 football game inventory. This came after an agreement between Fox and the conference was unable to muster to lost revenue from the COVID season. There's tens of millions of dollars of value in the NBC primetime deal in flux, as Patetti has been racing to ensure it keeps as much of its original value as possible. Historically, the Big Ten, after the first weekend in November, schools are not required to play night games for a myriad of reasons: health, recovery, campus logistics, among them. These were known in the league circles as tolerances. The prior television contracts accounted for all of them. The one with NBC didn't. This is like you're messing with tradition. You're messing with money in a time when you really don't have the ability to. $5 million doesn't seem like a lot of money, right? I say this all the time about college football, and especially in the SEC. Money's not real. Like coaching buyouts that's not real money. Boosters will come with that money right away. The Big Ten is a little bit different than the SEC. Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, rabid fan bases year round, love football, show up, have over 100,000 people in the stands every single Saturday. That's not what I'm talking about here. You have 14 teams. You think Northwestern is like, they're not hurting for money, I'm sure, because it's a great school, but not all of these schools are making a shit ton of money, especially from just football alone. This is not like the SEC is a football conference first, right? They have great baseball. They've gotten better at basketball. They have great women's basketball, all that kind of stuff, but it's a football conference first. That's not like necessarily what goes on in the Big Ten, right? It's not necessarily what goes on in the Big Ten. And what's the biggest concern is the Big Ten, like amongst all the other conferences, the one thing they've tried to do repeatedly is to maintain that not only are they not just a football conference, but they don't even use the word athletics. They always want to be an academic first conference.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. What are your thoughts? Stop watching the Braves.
Well, yeah, I know they've got this weird thing where because they were, obviously this whole expansion talk has been about, okay, the next domino to fall seems like it's going to be the ACC, and where will teams go, and that is the one thing about the Big Ten is they hold themselves on some higher ground when it comes to education, where like you have to have some status. I think it's like AAU status or something like that as a school, which is not easy to get, which I guess is the point.
Right.
But it's like, like Florida State's not an AAU school. I don't know if Miami is or not, but you start going down the list. So it's going to be interesting to see if that holds up over time as there's this fight to basically get to these two power conferences.
Right.
So, but I don't know, man. I mean, like Kevin Warren just bailed, and now he's he's with the Bears now or something like that.
He's the president and the CEO of the Bears, which is a shit organization. No offense, Connor. I mean, they
haven't been good. It's
bad organization.
Objectively, they haven't been good. Yeah, I mean, this guy's obviously sucks, right? I don't think anything he could do after trying to get everything canceled during COVID could ever make him like back in good graces with us.
No, ever.
And that means a lot in this world.
Yeah.
Kidding me?
But I mean, the thing is, like, and I don't think he is facing any kind of legal repercussions for this, which is kind of odd when you think about it. But I mean, dude, you're talking about tens of millions of dollars that someone else is now responsible for because of this one fucking guy. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, it makes sense that he left for the Bears. He probably knew how big of a mess he had left the Big Ten.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to run the Democratic ticket like the 2028 election next, because he is just like
moving on up.
Moving on up. All right, up next,
stadiums.
This is a conversation that I saw. Like I said, strictly with our good friends over at the Unnecessary Roughness Pod, who usually kind of like one of my favorite things, and I'm going to try to be nice about this. I'm not trying to make like enemies right now. One of my favorite things about that group, and Jack Mack's great. Me and Brandon Walker are going to be best friends in the year 2038. We already talked about this. Casey Smith seems like a nice person. Watching them learn about
knows what she's talking about too, though.
Yeah. Watching them learn about the sport they cover in real time is one of my favorite things to see. Like the Stetson Bennett thing a week late, them talking about the top 5 stadiums was a trip to me. And there's been other stuff that's come out since then. But tell
the listeners what was the trip about it. I mean, because I'm sure not everybody heard. Like what was
They came out with their top 5. They're talking about Georgia and Sanford Stadium and how it's not an elite stadium. I fully disagree with that. I think that it's like I can see if you want to say not top 5 in the country, not top 10. I feel like maybe a stretch, but maybe there's an argument for it. I don't know. If you told me that it was behind Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan in stadium rankings, I wouldn't. I think there's an argument there, especially with Penn State and Ohio State. Fine. Like all of those would be less egregious. What was not egregious, what's up, Dogfather? What was egregious was saying that it wasn't a top 5 stadium in the SEC. Also, LeBron James just threw a 2-handed pass over his head, falling backwards like this, like he was inbounding a ball in soccer, and it was a made 3-pointer. Almost impossible to do. Anyway, no. So what are you doing right now? Stop watching the Braves. Okay, so we're talking about the top 5 SEC stadiums currently, and we're talking about atmosphere, all the above, like difficult places to play. Like, again, if you're talking about in the country, sure. Georgia is a top 5 stadium in the SEC, and I don't think it's close. I've been to 8 of the stadiums. I've been to Williams-Brice. I've been to Georgia. I've been to the Swamp. I've been to Vandy, which doesn't really count. That's in the SEC East.
I mean, it counts. You've been there, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Bama, Auburn, Ole Miss, and LSU. I think it's a foregone conclusion. If I have LSU at 1, like I think LSU is the best environment. I've seen LSU twice, both for Auburn games. once during the day, once during the night. It was an electric atmosphere for both. I think the other thing with that experience too is like you kind of count the outside, even though the tailgating is separate, but it's like it does feel like it's like all one big experience, if that makes sense. Yes, Harry Legate. I think Williams-Brice has a lot of great atmosphere qualities. You have Sandstorm, you have the towels and stuff like that in the end zone, and like all that kind of stuff. I think the Swamp is fine. I haven't been to Tennessee. I've heard nothing but good things. I would probably include Tennessee as a top 5 stadium. But here's what I think. I think where this is coming from is multiple things. One, Stanford has been a top 5 stadium in the SEC. I would say for most of my life. Like, I don't think that's like a super hot take. Auburn's probably up there. Tennessee, if this list is made in 2019, when Tennessee lost at home to Georgia State, they're not in the top 5. But Tennessee's coming off a great season.
Right.
And we kind of assume they're back now. And so that's kind of thrown in there, right? I've heard from like a viewing standpoint, Neyland is not great because the seats are so close together. It's not fantastic. But for Georgia, you're talking about it's been 3 years since they've had a night game. It's also been 3 years or 2 years where you've gone 29-1, or you run roughshod over the entire country. Your only loss is on a neutral site against a team you played the national championship and won. Like the schedule hasn't been very difficult. But in the last 3 years, talking about a COVID year where you have like you're not filling the stands. 2021, the schedule was pretty weak. Their home schedule has been shit, right? Like it's not really their fault. It's going to get even worse this year. But in 2021 and 2022, there's 2 games that stick out to me. The Tennessee game, which I was at, and it was loud as hell that entire time. It's the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. Arguably one of the loudest places I've ever been for a game, including Death Valley at night. But in 2021, you have a game that's a noon kickoff against Arkansas that had 130. They reached 130 decibels in sound in the stadium. For a noon game, they won by 37.
Yeah.
Where am I wrong here?
So part of it for me has to be kind of hearing through experiences, because I haven't been to LSU. I haven't been to A&M. I haven't been there. There are great ones I have been to. Like I have been to Georgia, and I've been to Tennessee. I've been to Florida. And I've been to I wasn't impressed with Auburn, but again, like it also matters what kind of game you go to and what era it was in. Because I went to like an Auburn, it was like a shitty Auburn Tennessee game where like both of them were awful. It was an 11 a.m. game.
I remember that.
And I think like I don't even think an offensive touchdown was scored. It was like super low scoring. Oh no, it was probably more like 20. It's probably in like the 2011, 2012 ish time frame maybe. So that really affected it, and I'd like to go back to like a bigger game. But yeah, I would say Georgia was definitely better than Auburn was. I think it was better than Florida was. I wasn't as impressed with Florida.
What's that?
I wasn't as impressed with Florida as I thought I would be when I went. I've only gone once, and it was, during the Tebow era when I was at Florida State, and I was like, they beat the shit out of us. Like it was unenjoyable to say the least. So that might skew my opinion, but yeah, I don't see how you could argue ever that Georgia's not in the top 5 in the SEC, especially.
Yeah, I mean, like I think if I was right in the top 5, and I don't know what the criteria was because it's opinion based, right? Like so, it's like you can't really be wrong. I went to Auburn last year for a game between 2, 3, and 5 teams, and it was one of the best environments I've ever been to. It was awesome. It helped that I was on the field for it, but I mean, it was still like a pretty awesome environment.
Humble brag.
Super humble brag. I would have Auburn in the top 5. I think like my top 5 would be LSU. In some order, it would be, and I'm not ranking them, but I'm just saying in some order. Maybe we'll rank these like tomorrow or something like that. But like LSU, Auburn. I don't like. It's hard for me to say A&M because I haven't been there for one. But also, they lost at home to App State a year ago.
You have Auburn number 2.
Yeah.
Dude,
for environments,
I thought Tennessee was way better, but then again, I went to
he was probably in there.
I went to a Tennessee Oklahoma game, so it was a big game. I want to say it was a 3:30 game, so it was people were riled up, and it was fun. But I do agree. I felt it was very cramped.
Yeah.
That part was unenjoyable, but the environment was awesome.
Yeah, but I also think it's like, and that's the other part too. Is like if you go to a big game, that's one thing, right? If you go to like a big game, like not in a rude way, but if you're a Mississippi State fan, probably don't have the biggest, and most enjoyable time at other places. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just historically speaking, like, and also Auburn fans, I think, were probably the loudest about this because it's the South Florida rivalry. They've played each other the most, all that kind of stuff. If you look at the numbers, Georgia has played Auburn in Athens 10 times since 2003. They're 9-1 against Auburn. They've won all 9 of those games by an average of 21.3 points per game. And the one loss they had came in 2005, and it was by 1 point, 31-30. So if you're Auburn and you're saying like, "Oh man, this environment sucks, dude," like, yeah, it sucks because they beat your fucking brains in every single time you go there. Like, I mean, like if you're Vandy, it's like, dude, I've been to Bama games a ton. It was never loud. Like, yeah, with good reason. Like that part made no sense to me. I think that I think Kyle Field would probably be up there. I would assume Tennessee, sure. Again, I haven't been there. Like if it's from stadiums that I've been to, Georgia is firmly in the top 5 and probably number 3. And either way you look at it, and like I know Bama fans got upset about this, but Pepper says, hey, Bama's behind Auburn and Georgia in that account. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Bama's really necessarily close to that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always really enjoyed Bama games. Well, we were at the same one time, the Bama Florida game, 2012,
2010.
2010. Yeah, that's right, 2010. There we go. And what's the other game I went to? It was 2013 because I know it was the year Florida State won the championship. What game was that? Bama, but that was a lot of fun too. So, yeah, in Florida's, the weather down in Florida, just pretty much any time but November it's so sticky. It can kind of ruin the environment a little bit. But yeah, Chris is dealing with Pepper here. So okay, yeah, it's getting loud. I see why you're muted. There's a brawl in the Braves game? What's going on? So anyways, I'll just stall here. Yeah, let's move on. I want to get to Kroger Field one day. I'll just say that.
Yeah, so that was when I was like, and Chuck Stearman, I'm glad you chimed in on this because I've heard nothing but good things about Kroger Field. Like nothing but good. I would want to go to a night game, preferably October, because I think you get some of like the like fall season involved. I don't want to be like at freezing cold, but I also don't want to. What is going on in this game? Is there a brawl going on?
The bullpens came out, but yeah.
Okay.
Well. Ozuna and Will Smith.
No. Anyway, yeah, I think there's I would love to get the Kroger Field. I think Faurot Field will be fun, depending on the matchup. I want to go to Como in general, but I don't think a game there's at the top of my list. Kyle Field would be great. But yeah, Starkville's not really up there. Whatever. Anyway,
I want to go to Ole Miss for sure, but that's not necessarily for like the game environment, more so than just the tailgating, obviously.
If you go to Ole Miss, you have to know somebody with a tailgate there. Like you have to.
Yeah, that I bet.
It's like impossible to get drinks and shit like that. It's not great. William Grace says, I love the Kroger Field. Yeah, side note on this, I made a joke because on that podcast they said Stanford Stadium, which is like tough. It's Sanford Stadium. So I made like a joke and I was like, my favorite SEC stadiums, Stanford Stadium, Bryant Danny Stadium in Alabama, Williams-Sonoma Bryce Stadium in South Carolina, the Kroger's Field, and Kylie Jenner Field in College Station. I kind of thought the last 3 would be pretty obvious that they weren't real. Let me rephrase these or restate these. The Kroger's Field, Williams-Sonoma Bryce Stadium, and Kylie Jenner Field. the amount of people, if you want to have fun, if you're feeling down on a Monday or you're feeling down on yourself, do yourself a favor, go look at SDS on an Instagram and look at the comment section from that post. The amount of people who were like, excuse me, Neyland Stadium would like a word. Like, okay. And then Georgia fans just nonstop that were like, it's Sanford Stadium, you dumbass. And then my personal favorite was somebody made the comment that was like, it was like, obviously you've never been to the swamp. And it was like, and somebody goes, yeah, you tell him, dude. Peter Ben Hill Griffin Stadium has got to be up there. It's really good. So also we should start doing that for like a weekly segment is like the best. I did have some good responses, Dogfather. We should do like the best internet responses. I saw this is not funny, but it is. I'm not gonna break up the picture because it's horrifying. But Tyler, I saw a picture from this weekend where somebody in New York either jumped or got pushed in front of a train. And yeah, I didn't see the video. Because I wouldn't have watched that. But like, it's a picture, and I'm just scrolling through my feed. I would not have wanted to see it, and it didn't have the sensitive warning thing. I just saw it, and it's like, if this is the train, somebody's legs are just up like this on the platform, and that's all you can see. It's a person that I know from Alabama Twitter commented under it and said, they commented under it and said, are they alive or like, are they okay? And they were dead serious. And I was like,
oh, dead serious? That's what you did there.
Got hit by a truck. Dope Campbell's Chunky Soup Stadium is bar none the best. Also very true. Send us in your best fake, what do you call it? Stadium names too. That'd be a lot of fun. All right, let's get to our last segment on a very slow week. Oh my God. We should tell you though about like the week ahead. Tomorrow, Bama Rush.
What is that?
Make sure God damn it.
Tell them. I'm asking for the
documentary. It's a documentary that's coming out about Alabama sororities rush. And it's supposed to be a pretty devastating documentary about Greek life in Tuscaloosa. And
oh boy,
can't wait. I've never been more proud to be in the 85%. I'll say that. There's this whole thing about like it's the machine, which is not Bert Kreischer. So please like don't comment that. It's like a thing that is like that runs the University of Alabama, and it's gonna be so bad. Like it's gonna be very damning to a lot of Greek culture, which I can't like. I don't really know who needs to hear this. If you went to a big school and we're in a fraternity, I totally get it, or sorority, I totally get it. But like, you were in a frat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get an ankle tat?
No. Booza has an ankle tat.
Sigs that I saw with ankle tats.
Booza in the chat has an ankle tat though.
Sanford and Son Stadium in Aikens, Georgia is pretty good.
Hey, in hope, brother. In hope.
What's up, Jerry W? Yeah, hold on, Eddie Booza. What is your ankle tat? That could be a new segment. Like instead of who's sadder than Marlar, who's got a worse tattoo than Marlar?
Eddie's just got the Sigma Chi letters.
Sigma Chi, dude, that's sick.
Sigma Chi, bro.
Till I die, bro.
Sigma Chi, I feel like I see like when someone's like making fun of Greek life, like they always use Sigma Chi.
Yeah. Sigma Chi. I remember like the Sigma Nu house in South Carolina. So when my mom was there, it was like 2004, 2005, so like right after my freshman year. So I was like had like the first college experience. They did this whole thing in Columbia where they redid the Greek village and built these like multi-million-dollar homes. And I think Sigma Nu, theirs was destroyed from damages within like 3 months. Like why? Just why? You know, be awesome, dude. You know, be fucking sicker than living in this $3.5 million mansion right in Fraternity and Sorority Row. What if we fucking ruined it, dude? Huh?
We burned it all down.
Off the wall. Anyway, just like it's ridiculous. Also, this guy just hurt himself rounding first. Just a very basic maneuver. All right. Her Bama Rush's premiere was being delayed until Mechie and Williams are back. Nice. Okay. That's cool. Anyway.
What's the last segment here?
Guest that'll be coming on the Wednesday episode. Tyler, you're going to be here for that.
I am.
Are you? I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, TBD. We'll talk after.
All right, we have a very special guest. It is the daughter of one of the more prominent head coaches in the SEC. That's all I'm going to say. They'll be joining us for a
Dude,
recap of Bama.
you
Very
got Kiffin's daughter, isn't she in high school?
No, I don't. Lane Bryant Stadium is pretty good, Alan. That's the winner. Lane Bryant Stadium.
Lane Bryant, yeah.
All right, let's get to the last thing. ESPN came out with their top 10 quarterbacks since 2000. Okay. Have you seen this yet, Tyler?
Oh, I have. And
Why don't you take the lead on this and pay attention?
It kind of felt like it was created as a hot take, just to get things riled up here. ESPN, who, they do a good job of covering college football, which is why I don't trust the list that was put out on Twitter today by them, ranked the top 10 college football quarterbacks since 2000. So this is a lot of really good names that you could pick from here. What, Chris? Let me ask you this: what's the first name?
I can't make this up. Just give me a second.
Okay.
My dad's fucking mistress has just followed me on Twitter.
Yes.
I don't even know.
Let's put out a tweet. Let her know we're watching.
I'm gonna block her instead. How about that?
Okay, that sounds better.
What the fuck?
What is life? What is life? All right.
Okay. Go ahead.
If I told you to say, hey, what's the best quarterback since 2000? Who would you say?
So best season, best overall.
Best overall quarterback.
Tim Tebow.
Okay, I'd probably agree with you there.
If it's best season, it's Cam Newton.
Yeah, those would be the first two I would talk about.
Yeah,
before any. And while ESPN did have Cam Newton very high, there were some questionable choices before him. So for those of you that didn't see this, number 10, RG3.
That was weird. But he did win a Heisman.
And he was extreme. He was like, I wouldn't say transcendent, but he was like Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if I'd have him 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally think there's probably some better QBs. Marcus Mariota, number 9.
One of the greatest seasons in the history of college football. Had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and then had 55 total interceptions. He's at 9.
Mm-hmm. Number 8, Lamar Jackson. Got to be higher, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Number 7, Kyler Murray.
1-year starter who should not have won the Heisman.
Yeah, I would not have him in the top 10 by any stretch of the imagination. Number 6, Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson never threw less than 13 interceptions in a season.
Yeah, I mean, I think what gets me is that since 2000. That's a long time, Chris. 23 years.
Long time.
Number 5, Joe Burrow. I think he deserves. I mean, he was I'll put it this way. He was a 1-year guy in terms of being like a huge name.
Yeah.
But that was a hell of a season.
Did you see, by the way, real quick, did you see how the news that came out that oh boy,
Freddie Freeman just hit a 3-run homer, didn't he?
Oh, that sucks for you guys. Yeah, Joe Burrow in 2018 had 16 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, averaged 222 passing yards per game. The following year, when you bring in Joe Brady, he averaged 378 yards per game. And Jesus Christ, and 60 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Having an increase of 44 touchdowns and only 1 interception in year over year is a pretty impressive stat.
Tebow 4, which is tough. 3, Vince Young. 2, Cam Newton. Number 1, Chris, just like we all thought, Baker Mayfield.
That's insane. He never won
That's
anything.
what this is a fake list.
It has to be, right? It has to
It
be.
does.
Okay.
It does.
But it's not April Fools.
This guy, granted, he's still, I guess he's the starter for the Bucks now. So good luck with that. This guy, I said famously that he'd be selling insurance
On this podcast.
Well, predating this podcast.
Yeah. Winning and boozing.
But ESPN thinks he's been the top quarterback since the year 2000 when I was in 8th grade.
So Matt Leinart didn't make the list.
Right. Like Matt Leinart, I think had a better career than Baker Mayfield.
Matt Leinart would be top 5 without a doubt. Also, a top 5 like TikTok and Instagram follow as well. He's hilarious. He's really funny.
I did find that. I just recently followed him.
I mean,
2016
Deshaun Watson. This is the year they beat Bama in the national title game. He had 50 total touchdowns in 15 games, which is good. Right? 41 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. In one, he had 30 in 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's kind of how like Jameis was the tale of two tapes too. Like he was incredible his Heisman year, but then his turnover problem started the next year and continued to the NFL.
Yeah. And also his pregame speeches.
Dude, we're going to do it big then. Come on now. Eating them W's, bro.
I want to eat a W. Nobody says that. All right. That is that's the main thing from this week. We'll have another episode on Wednesday. We'll go over some more stuff. You guys have been great as always. Let's get into our audience questions, Tyler.
All right, let's do it.
You want me to ask them?
Yep.
All right, well, let me grab some. Okay. First one. If you could go to one stadium for one game this year, not in your team's conference, what would it be? You want me to go first so you can think?
I do.
Penn State for Penn State, Michigan. I feel like we've talked about some of these stadium rankings a bunch over the last couple episodes, or because the off-season comments or off-season content. But I feel like we don't talk about Penn State enough. Penn State seems awesome. Penn State seems like really, really awesome. So anyway, that's what I would have. What would you have?
I think going to Alabama for the Texas-Alabama game would be sweet.
That'd be pretty fun. Let's try to figure out a way how to get there for that.
Or the LSU-Bama game, just for a revenge game for Bama, because that's a home game, right? For Bama this year.
Yeah.
That'd be a really good one. I'm trying to think of
Washington could be fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm trying to think of like a good Pac-12 game.
Yeah, because I still say that like games at USC would probably suck.
Yeah, I think I'd want to go to Oregon or like Washington.
Yeah, for sure.
Game out there.
Okay. Next question. What is the weirdest thing you keep in your nightstand? Mine's a vibrator. Everyone knows that. I'm kidding. That's a joke, guys. It's a joke.
I don't really keep anything weird in there, but I do have like one of those long sticks that I could scratch my back with.
Yeah, I don't have a nightstand.
Sleep on an air mattress?
Not yet. We'll see. We'll see.
Right there with you, brother.
I heard that, brother. Fuck, I gotta move next week again.
Oh gosh.
I'm super pumped.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have 3 every week, Tyler.
Well, you started like dozing off or something. I didn't know what was going on.
I just don't want to move again. Okay, last but not least. What is okay, this is a pretty good one. What's a movie you could watch over and over and never get tired of? Pretty good.
So for me, examples of movies that I've watched over and over again that I never get tired of would be Wedding Crashers, Happy Gilmore, Billy
Mhm.
Madison, Old School, and weirdly, The Other Guys. I like.
The other guy is my choice.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, that movie is unreal.
So good.
Yep.
So good.
You know what's another good one that's really underrated is Hot Tub Time Machine.
Completely agree.
That's a great one.
I haven't seen it in forever, but yeah, that was a really funny movie.
It's so good.
Okay, hold on. Let's just do one more follow.
Motley Lou.
Lugal. Here's by the way, do you know who Quaco is?
Yeah.
Did you see him on TV last night in the game show?
No.
He was on the Cube on TBS.
Well, what is that?
I'll send you a video.
All right.
It was really funny. Okay. But anyway, I would say that one. And then last but not least, so this is somebody else had this in as like a add-on, but I'll ask you right now. Favorite Marvel movies or superhero movies? Because I feel like this is Marvel because Batman is the clear cut choice and clear cut answer.
That's the only one I've seen.
What?
I don't do Marvel movies. I don't even do really movies at all.
What the fuck is going on? You haven't seen any Marvel movies?
I don't do like Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't really even know which ones. Like, what is there? Thor.
What are you?
I've never seen any of them.
I just don't get who you are sometimes.
Why
are you the way that you are?
I don't really have the attention span for movies anymore. I'm too distracted.
Well, all right. The answer for me was going to be Spider-Man, but I'm glad we got to end this on such a fun, exciting uptick of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Close us out. Tell everyone where they could find our stuff. And then tell them about the new stuff that's going to be happening.
I don't think it's time yet.
All right. Never mind.
There's going to be some exciting stuff we're doing in the fall. Yep. We're going to start a swear jar. So Chris is going to have to deposit money. And me.
Why don't we do a swear jar where every time I don't cuss, you guys give me money? Because I think that would be more helpful for me than me giving you more of the money that I already don't have.
Okay. So like we're rewarding you for not cussing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a puppy when a puppy doesn't pee inside you, or like a kid that loses teeth, or like a.
I wonder if we could run like bets, like we'll do over under on minutes of how long it takes before you actually say one. It's like slip up.
I've thought about this, and other people have recommended this because I think it'd be funny. But I know you well enough to know that if we did that, you would just start saying stuff like, "I got Brandon Walker to come on," or like, "Hey, I heard Brandon Walker and Allie
I'd be baiting you."
Yeah, the whole time. Anyway, all right, close us out there, Tyler. We will see you guys on Wednesday for a very special episode.
Very, very special. Kiffin's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think she's 14.
Okay, that's too much.
Yep. That was weird. All right. See you guys.